Coaching in Session.
Your exclusive destination for unparalleled personal and professional growth.
With your host, Michael Rearden.
Whether you choose to live within limits or break free, your mindset journey begins here.
My life didn't fully change until I started investing in myself fully. Most people think when they should invest in themselves that they have to pay for something. Investment is not so much of a bill, but of a mindset. Because if I'm investing my time into something, right, my family, for example, they don't care about my money. Of course, I'm sure they want to live in a home and they want to have a car rather than walk. All of these things are, of course, maybe common sense to a degree, but some families don't have that. Maybe that wasn't a part of what they needed in order to be a family. The lifestyle that you're living is not so much of an investment. The investment that we're talking about, especially around this time of the year, is, are you going to be someone who compounds into something better, into something greater? Most people, when it comes to the American dream or just a Western philosophy of how we think, they give themselves this idea of materialism. They give themselves this idea of, I can show people that I'm doing well, but I can wear clothes with holes in them and I can have more money than you. I could not have my hair cut or smell the nicest, but then again, I can be more confident than who you are. So all of this can be a facade, the outside of what we see, but the investment comes from within. One of the things people invest in is college. College is a lot of money. Some colleges are going to be a little bit less, right? We can go to community college and we could pay a little bit less. But people, they want to go to these Ivy Leagues and these big universities. And rightfully so. They are going to teach you something there. But what was astounding to me was the same professors that were teaching at my community college were teaching at some of the biggest universities in Connecticut. So you have to ask yourself, why am I spending all this money on getting the same education from the same teacher? Because it's the same concept as, do you want to drive a Lamborghini or a Honda Civic? Well, I would think Lamborghini would probably be a better option, right? But then you have to get premium gas, and then you have to make sure no one steals your car because it's a luxury item. And then now you're worried about your car because it's worth more than your home, maybe. And you're like, oh man, I hope nothing happens to this car. So you being a car owner, just having a Lamborghini can be so many issues that you might have never thought of. Now, of course, if you have an abundance of money, then you probably wouldn't think of a car as an investment or a home as an investment. You would probably have all of that squared away. Most people, when they think of investment, they think of, I'm going to get this gym membership. That's my investment this month. It's $30 a month or something, right? That's my investment. Coaching. I'm going to spend a couple $100 on coaching with Michael. That's my investment. All of this is the concept of skin in the game, of course. But investment is more than just the money that you're going to spend on yourself. This is the idea that you're going to fill your mind with something that can never be stolen. And I mean never. Of course, there's going to be people who are going to try to rob you, who are going to try to shame you, who are going to try to belittle you, who are going to be the naysayers, who are going to be the doubters, and they're going to influence how your mind is. But you have to give them permission. You have to open up the door and allow those words and those concepts and those ideas and those philosophies to permeate you and for you to want to make the change. Because if you ever been in like a bad relationship and the person did something and you're like, I really don't like this. Let me try to change them. Let me try to fix them. And you're playing this fixing game where you're trying to fix someone. Well, that person doesn't have to change. That person doesn't have to want to be better. That person can stay exactly who they are, and there's nothing that you can do. Of course, you can threaten them. You can say, I'm going to leave you if you don't start changing, if you don't start acting right. And in their head, they're like, go. Okay, let's see you later. Again, maybe it could be a scare tactic and they don't want to be alone. So they're, okay, I'll do anything. And they start changing and they do everything right for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, they're back to their old habits. Okay. That wasn't an investment. That was a scare tactic. That was a momentary blip on making you feel good for a moment so then you can forget, oh, wow, there's a big problem that I'm just choosing to avoid every now and again. Well, there's a lot to say about investing. There's a lot to say about you as a person. And there's this idea of how you can grow, and it becomes a gift. And so when we look at this article that I have here, The Gift of Growth, how investing in yourself changes everything. Of course, we talk about this idea of how we can give ourselves good things in our life, whether it be gifts or moments or coaching or gym memberships or trainers. Of course, those can be investments on the surface level. But when we start to invest at a deeper level into the roots, we are getting into what's going to truly help us flourish. I think of my garden, right? I'm just using my garden as an example. It could be anything, but I'm using my garden. My garden does extremely well every single year. Why? Why does my garden do so well? I will tell you this. It's not because I got the plants and I put them in the soil and I have a green thumb. Okay, it is not that. I had to do the work in order for me to have the harvest that I have before I even decided to plant any seeds. What does that mean, Michael? Well, if you remember a couple weeks back, we talked about this concept of momentum. Momentum is that you're starting before the race, that you're building up before the race. And so, half the battle for me when it comes to the garden is making sure that I have the best soil possible before I even plant a seed down. Of course, I can get a bag from the home store, like the Home Depot or the Lowe's, and I can put in all of this good stuff and chemicals, and I can fertilizer and like all of this stuff, right? I can do all of that. And I can say, okay, I have the best soil possible for that seed, and I can just do it that way, right? That's like the quick fix. I like to call that rapid response. Now, rapid response is nice because you're doing everything in order to get a good result. But what happens when all that soil is basically leached from all the nutrients? Do you just kind of put new fertilizer, or do you get rid of what was there, the old stuff, and start new? Well, the soil that we had the first year was like you can look at it. It was like crystals. It was like so crystals stuck to your fingers. It was so rich in nutrients. And I was like, whoa, this is some really good soil. And even though I had this good soil, I struggled because I didn't have the understanding of Texas weather for the garden to thrive. And then so we started to make some adjustments. And next year, the garden was amazing. And it just happened to be, I started to pay attention. Now, the soil from the year previously was still good, but there was things that I needed to do. I had to take care of the soil, very similar to how you have to take care of yourself. Now, the vessel that you're in can be the soil. The mind that you have within you can also be conceptualized as the soil. And so you invest in it. You invest time in the soil. Think of farmers tilling the fields. They allow fields to rest, of course, but then when they're tilling the fields, they're tending to them daily. They're making sure there's no weeds, they're making sure there's no rocks, and they're making sure it's the best possible field for the best possible harvest. Are we making sure that we have the best possible body and the best possible mind so we can get the best possible results for ourselves for not only today, but this year? Most people are not even thinking like that. Most people are thinking an investment is I have to get a coach to tell me what to do, and then the coach is going to tell me what to do, and I get to decide if I want to change or not. That's not how life works. Life works when you want to work. So if you have a teenager who wants to go and make some money, they're going to go and make some money. If you have a teenager who wants to play video games and be lazy and ask you for money when they need it, that's their decision. That's their choice. They're not investing in anything. And if we think about how they're investing in the terms of investing, one's investing their time in pleasure and one's investing in progress and advancement in their future and potential for growth in their businesses, whatever they're trying to do. Not everyone's going to have this type of mindset. because most people, they like the quick fixes in life. An investment that brings an annual 4 to 10% a year might not sound a lot, but if we think about compounding, it will become everything. That's how you win. That's how you have your money work for you. But then again, people think 4%, oh, it's not a lot. It's not enough. When is it enough? When is investing in yourself enough? When you get the gold, what happens if you fail? Did you not invest in yourself enough? There's so many mindsets that happen when we think about investing in ourselves or investing in something. And if it doesn't go good, we have a disdain for investing in ourselves. Oh, I tried, but I couldn't do it. I tried, but I failed. How many people tried something and then they failed, and then they tell other people that it's not worth it because I tried and I couldn't do it? As a teacher, I had to invest in quite a bit of kids. Some kids maybe I didn't want to invest in, right? I'm being honest, because they were just jerks. And it was like, man, like this kid here, this is a handful, right? I still would invest in them, right? To some degree. I know something about people, and people can break. Everyone can break. Just a matter of time and how you do it. When I was a teacher, you can't necessarily break kids like in school the way you would like in a swim lesson, for example, right? In a swim lesson, you can tire the kid out where they get so tired where they have no choice but to focus. In school, you take them out to recess and things like that. You might take away their recess, or you might give them detention, or you do some level of punishment that maybe might get them to act the right way. But the reality is, if you show up, they will. So investing in yourself to be the best figure for them to say, whoa, this is a person that I don't mind listening to. That's the win. And swimming is not so much of the win there, right? Investing is a little bit different. And especially in life. Life can also be an investment, but we need to figure out the framework. And here we have a simple 3-step process for our growth, for our framework here in investing. And the framework begins with awareness. Awareness is going to be a factor for many of the frameworks that we're going to be talking about in the next couple of months, or just this month. We'll see what happens, where we're taking some time to figure out, hey, are we following the right patterns? Are we asking ourselves the right questions? Am I settling? Am I not settling? Am I compromising? Write down the areas of my life where I'm succeeding and I'm growing, and write down the areas where I'm not winning. My first year of growing food here in Texas, we did really good with like peppers and green beans, and we had like carrots and beets, and we had all of these things, but the tomatoes didn't grow. The peppers didn't grow. We had so many watermelons and so many cantaloupes, but the tomatoes didn't grow. The peppers didn't grow. And I'm just thinking in my mind, I'm like, why can I grow everything else, but I can't grow peppers and I can't grow tomatoes? I used to grow peppers and tomatoes in Connecticut, so why can't I grow peppers and tomatoes here? I thought I lost the touch, but it wasn't. I just didn't know what needed to be done. So when I figured out how to grow tomatoes in Texas, when I figured out how to grow peppers in Texas, I have too many peppers now. I have tomatoes for every salad that I want to eat in the summer now. It's not by accident, it's by design. So I designed what I wanted, right? But I had to be aware of the things that were going right and the things that were going wrong. And then I could adjust. One of the things I did was I say, hey, let me ask people who have done what I want to do. I want to grow things in Texas. Let me find people who have been growing things in Texas. So I found friends. I've talked to farmers, and I say, hey, how do you do this? And sure enough, they told me the secret. Now it's my secret. I will tell you the secret if you want to know. But the reality is, if you don't live in Texas, it's not going to help you, right? Because if you grow peppers and stuff in New England, you just put it in the soil, water it, weed it, and you're probably good to go as long as you're resting the soil every year. Now, this is the action part, right? Step 2, when it comes to the framework of growth and investment. This is where people, they have a hard time with, because action is big. It can be loud, it can be soft, right? It can be quiet. Where if we're not committing to everything that we're doing, then you are one day going to not commit to it. Meaning, if you are saying, okay, I'm going to invest in myself, right? I'm going to invest in my body, and I'm going to invest in making sure I'm getting the best quality foods and the best possible training and the best possible fitness. And all of a sudden, you are investing in yourself so heavily, and then all of a sudden, you don't commit to yourself one day or 1 week. And I'm not saying that you can't have a cheeseburger. I'm not saying that you can't have a pizza. But then again, this is intentional. All right. You say at the beginning of the week, all right, I'm going to have a burger on Friday because it's something I've been craving. I've been working extremely hard and I have been seeing the results of my training. I think one hamburger is not going to break the bank. That's not going to break me because I know after I have this hamburger, maybe not the same day, but I'm going to get back on the horse. I'm going to get back on the tracks. I'm going to get back on the treadmill. I'm going to get into the gym and I'm going to continue with my regimen. Just because I have one moment of pleasure doesn't mean that I'm going to think that comfort is going to be my next pleasure. All right, there's no breaks. Action is going to build. So we build healthier routines. We build healthier logics, healthier mindsets, right? We practice daily reflections. We journal. We think of every small step as a big step. This daily habit is going to lead to a lifelong success. All of this is going to be continued by the momentum that we have. Okay. So we keep doing the right things and we keep getting the right results. We're going to want to keep doing them because number one, the momentum is still there and we have the motivation to keep on going because we're loving what we see. When is the last time you looked in the mirror and you didn't love what you saw? Maybe it is today. You look in the mirror, you go, dear God, who are you? You're a mess. You're a slob. I'm not saying that these negative tones and concepts and words are something that you should allow in your life every single day, but a bit of truth and honesty can go a long way. If my wife says, hey, do I look fat in this dress? I'm going to say either yes or no. It's honest. I want her to know that she can trust me rather than for me to lie to her to make her feel good for a moment. Maybe I'm not your husband, right? I'm not the husband that you would want, right? You might say, Michael, I do not want a husband like that. Michael, I want a husband that's going to tell me all the things that I need to hear. Okay. So he's going to lie to you when you need to know the truth. How long have you been lying to yourself? How long have you not been growing? How long have you not been paying attention? How long have you not been doing the right actions? How long have you not been investing in yourself? And you're just going to chalk it up to maybe someone can give me a white lie so I can feel better. That's not what we do here. Because now we are faced with, we need to put this all together. And so we have to have a level of integration from all the areas of our life to try to make it one, where we reinforce all of the progress that we make with positive things, of course, right? We want to be positive, and we want to reinforce it with this mindset that if not today, when? I succeeded today, I can succeed tomorrow. I don't look good today, but I can look good tomorrow. Simply just adjusting how we speak. Because I can tell myself right now, Michael, you're a joke. Michael, you're not showing up in the gym. You're not showing up for your family. You're not showing up in life. What are you going to do about it? Sounds so harsh, right? Michael, Jesus, go easy on yourself. You're human. Well, that's the point. Humans have the potential to do amazing things. Are you doing amazing things? Are you investing in yourself? Are you pushing yourself when you need to be pushed? Most people love to take it easy on a Friday. Friday for me is a moment for me to say, okay, tomorrow I get to work as well. How many people are getting ready to go on a 3-day weekend or extended weekend or something on Friday, or to take it easy and to just chill and relax? I'm sure that life is grandiose for a time. But then again, the winners in life, the 1%ers, or whatever you want to consider the top people, they didn't just stop because it was Friday. They stopped when they were done. They invested in themselves. They sacrificed when sacrifice wasn't the best option for them in the terms of comfort. So I don't know. Are you able to be a person that repeats things over and over again, that is happy with the 4% progress that you can make that's going to compound? Or are you a person that only wants the 100%? And if it's not 100%, I don't want it at all. Well, investing in yourself is a compounding factor. Investing in yourself is going to be something that's going to take time. You have to in a sense, give yourself this gift that you can grow. And maybe the year that you're trying to grow, you learn many different things and you have gone down the trial and error path because you didn't want to get a coach or a guide. And then you say, okay, I know better for next time. However, sometimes what happens when it comes to I know better for next time is I tried one time. There won't be another time. And I don't want you to allow your life to be that. So I want you to check out this article here, The Gift of Growth, How Investing in Yourself Changes Everything. And in this article, we talk about many concepts of what investment is, what growth is, and then we give you the framework for growth and investment, where we're talking about awareness, we're talking about action, and we're talking about how you integrate everything that is going to help you win in life. I remember I was meeting with a potential client. We did a couple consultations. He was going through a hard time in his life where if I was going through that, I would say I failed as a man. And I'm not going to get into the details too much. But one of the things I kept telling him was, if you want to win, we have to do this. And he was in the concept or the mindset of, I'm not trying to win, I'm just trying to be happy. And I said, you can be happy just right now, forgetting that everything that you're dealing with is even present. And he thought about it for a second. He goes, interesting. I could just pretend that everything's okay and I could pretend to be happy. And I can fool myself to be happy because I'm not worried about the problems anymore. And guess what? He started to think of, how can I win instead? So investing, think of day trading, Robinhood or something, and just think of stocks where you want whatever stock you have to do better. Just because you bought some Disney stock and it went down, or some Netflix stock and it went down, or you bought some stock in Nvidia and it went up, your whole portfolio is everything that is your investment. Just because something goes down and something goes up, it doesn't mean that the things that go down you need to get rid of. It doesn't mean that the things that go up you need to start putting more money in either. Okay? What's the idea? Buy low, sell high. So if you're thinking in the terms of, let me get rid of the things that are negative in my life and just keep the things that are positive, you will always find your investments short. And all of this is just a concept for the mind, where when you're investing in yourself, yeah, sure, it can be coaching. It could be getting a gym membership. It could be time. But this idea where you can grow is this investment. You do everything that needs to happen before it needs to happen. So you prepare for your success. Growth doesn't just happen by accident. It happens on purpose. There was a guy who he used to be a big gym guy before he had like surgery and everything, where he would have a saying and he would lift up his biceps and he would curl a bar or something and he would scream, I demand you grow. I demand you grow. And he invested his time, he invested effort and everything, where he demanded growth. And we can be that strict here, right? I can say, I demand growth from you. Okay. But then again, this podcast is not so much of you have to do what I'm telling you. This is optional, right? Coaching in session is a buffet. You take what you want, you leave what you don't. Some things you might say, I'm going to run with it and I'm going to be successful with it. Some things you might say, this is not my cup of tea. And I don't want to give you any tea that you dislike. You figure out how you live your life. I don't tell clients how to live their life. When clients come to me and they say, hey, Mike, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what I need to be successful and happy and win in life. I go, no. It doesn't work that way. You need to figure out what you want to invest in. You need to figure out, if I'm going to do this, what is the most likely outcome if I do this? Then we think about it long term. If I keep doing this long term, what is the most likely outcome? And so you need to figure out your life more than just what it is today, tomorrow, next week, next year, whatever it be, as long as you want. And you figure out, how do you want to be in life? Investing in yourself is something where you take a period of time, a moment. Think of college as 4 years typically. You invest 4 years of your life into education. Right now, you have an opportunity to invest in yourself for personal development, however that might look for you. Maybe you want better relationships. Maybe you want a better career. Maybe you just want a better mindset in all, right? Overall, this is something you have to work for, toward. So if you are doing the work, you're going to maybe get the results if you're intentional. Growth is going to happen, yes, but you have to do the nurturing as well. All the garden that I have grown, I can look at it and I can say, whoa, it's growing so beautifully. But if I don't water it, it's going to shrivel up. So you have to make sure you're doing everything that you can at the beginning, in the middle, and the end. And then you have to be able to keep on moving. Investments don't stop, they compound. This is this idea of mindset. If we can compound it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, we're going to be in a better place because we chose to be in a better place. So I ask you, are you going to invest in yourself? However that may look for you. Maybe people are going to hear this and they're going to say, all right, Michael, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to get coaching with you. And I'm going to say, great, that's a great place to begin. But just because you say you're going to invest in coaching, it doesn't mean you're going to invest in the victory that is possible with it. Some people, they think that there's a magic pill or a magic formula to get what they want. No, it's not. It's hard work. It's being deliberate. Do you want to be deliberate long enough? Do you want to be disciplined long enough? Because the investments that you put in every single day can pay off, but you have to pay what you need to do as a daily toll every single day. Because if you just kind of want to do it some days, then you're just one of those people who kind of want it. And I don't want you just to kind of want it. I want you to really want it. I want you to be all in. I want you to go all in. Depending on where you are right now, it could be a daunting task. It might be almost an impossible task. But just because it might seem impossible right now doesn't mean that it will never happen. So I encourage you once more to check out this article, The Gift of Growth, How Investing in Yourself Changes Everything. You're going to learn so many great things here, and it's going to really give you the edge when you're trying to not only reflect on what you're doing every single day, but it's going to help you become more intentional, and it's going to lead to the ultimate success and wealth of what's possible in life.